Chapter 22. Vroom Vroom. Dee answered Red's question calmly, but Red could tell she was agitated. We keep a lookout up on the cliffs. If they see any sign of the Queen or her men coming, they ring the bell in the clock tower to put everyone on alert. Red's heart sank. Dee, I swear, we had nothing to do with them coming here. You have to believe me. I know. It's okay, said Dee. It's probably a false alarm. A troop comes every other month or so to make sure we haven't gone full rogue, and we've been due for a checkup. She glanced around the room, and Red saw that the townsfolk were looking at the three newcomers with suspicion. Still, Dee said in a low voice, you should probably go. Red, if the soldier guards see the Duchess's car, they might report it, Chester said. Clubs, Red swore. Okay, we're going. Dee, how could Red express her gratitude for what the girl had done for them? Thanks for everything. Dee gave her a curt nod. If you take a left behind the cottage, once you're out of the cellar, there's a street that goes straight to the town square. Good luck. Red and the boys bade one another a very quick goodbye and hurried up the stairs. In the dark streets, every shadow looked like a soldier car, and every looming building reminded Red of her mom. She wasn't afraid of the cards, but she could have handled them with a single command. But if word of Red's presence or the Duchess's car in Bramble Bay ever reached the castle, it would bring the full attention of the Queen of Hearts, crashing down on the hidden town, and that wasn't something Red wanted on her conscience. They reached the square just as Red heard the sound of galloping hooves, somewhere beyond the crash of the ocean waves. Come on, she hissed. Are we leaving our stuff at the inn? Ace said. There's no time to grab it. Wait, Chester said, tossing Red the keys to the roadster. I have to do something quick. Get in the car. I'll be right there. Chester! Red snapped, but he was already running into the Turtle Inn. Red and Ace jumped in the car, with Red in the driver's seat. The galloping hooves were getting closer. Red turned the key in the ignition and let the car idle as they waited for Chester. Come on, Red muttered. What is he doing? At last, Chester jogged back out of the inn and scrambled for the back seat. In his arms, he carried their disguises from the night before. Oh, good thinking, Ace said. But Chester pointed down the street, where soldier cars on horseback were coming into town. We better step on it, he said. Red did, a little too hard. She threw the car into reverse and pumped the gas. The roadster lurched backward into the square. Easy, easy, Ace said. I'm just getting used to it. Give me a second, Red snapped. She had taken a special elective to learn to drive in case it ever came in handy, though most kids at Wonderland High traveled by foot or horse carriage, but she'd never driven a car like this. The Duchess's roadster was smooth and responsive to Red's every movement. It was almost like the car anticipated the direction she planned to turn before Red had made up her own mind. She considered her options, then turned deeper into the town and drove away from the soldier cars. You sure about this? Chester said. If we felt lost before on foot, just trust me, said Red. There's only one road in and out of here, right? Unfortunately, said Ace. The soldier cars were almost upon them, and Red hoped they hadn't spotted the car. At the last moment, she swerved into an alley and brought the roadster to a halt. Wait, what are we doing? Chester asked. Shh, Red whispered, turning the car off and cutting the lights. Get down. They hunched in the seats, listening as the hoof beats sounded closer and closer on the cobblestone streets. Red watched in the rearview mirror as 6, 12, 14 soldier cars rode by not 20 feet behind them. The three kids remained perfectly still until they couldn't hear the horses anymore. Let's get out of here, Red muttered. She started the car and eased out of the alley. Once their direction was righted, Red drove slowly back to the square and then past the inn, picking up speed the farther they got toward the edge of town. With no sign of any more soldier cars, Red pressed her foot to the gas and flew them out of Bramble Bay and into the dark, dark night beyond. When the sea cliffs eclipsed the tiny lights of the town, Red sighed and looked in the rearview mirror, but didn't slow down. With the town obscured, it felt as though it had never existed at all. But Red knew it was there, and she wouldn't forget. The candy strip gate at the Tulgey Wood checkpoint was down again, and the soldier carts came out of the outpost shack as they had before. But in their frog butler and Duchess disguises, the three Wonderlandians breezed by them. What, I can't drive my own car? Red barked as the two carts looked with surprise at her chauffeur in the back seat. I'll drive my car whenever I please. 3 of Hearts and 4 of Clubs apologized and bowed low, raising the gate without fuss. But it gave Red no satisfaction to navigate easily through Tulgey Wood and return to the familiar sights of the capital once more. It was over all too quickly. It seemed that even the forest made only a half-hearted attempt to confuse their path. Red couldn't stop thinking of Dee and the others in Bramble Bay, hoping the soldier carts hadn't found anything suspicious, but it seemed like the rebels could take care of themselves. Home, sweet home, Ace grumbled as the sharp towers of the castle of the Queen of Hearts rose before them. Red brought the roadster to an idle in front of the hedge maze. When she turned the car off, it felt like all her energy went with it. She climbed out of the driver's seat and handed the keys reluctantly to Chester as they traded places. Chester, wait, she said. Back at the inn, did you really go in for the disguises, or was there something else? He didn't look at the others as he adjusted the roadster's mirrors. I wrote a letter to my aunt last night. I was going to try to deliver it myself, but I gave it to the innkeeper instead. I'm sure he'll get it to your family, Ace said quietly. Chester shrugged. It doesn't matter. Maybe we'll go back someday. We will, Red said, and she meant it. She had seen a way of living in Bramble Bay, and that she'd never known was possible. And even if they couldn't bring all of Wonderland to Bramble Bay, maybe they could bring a little Bramble Bay to Wonderland. We'll make it happen. All right, Chester said with a small smile on his face. You get inside, Princess. You'll have to tell your mother all about your training with the Duchess. Ugh. Red rolled her eyes, but she waved as she watched them drive away, tail lights disappearing into the forest like Bramble Bay had disappeared into the distance.